Alright, Diablo 4 players, let's go over the brand new balance update for the class, the Rogue, in Season 11 via the PTR patch note. So, starting right off, we're getting a change to the specialization, which is Inner Sight. So previously, it would actually give you infinite or unlimited energy and an additional 25% critical strike chance for 4 seconds once that thing is fully built. Now, how it works in Season 11 is that you attack enemies to fill your inner sight gauge. It's the same thing as far as like marked enemies will fill it faster, but now it only restores 300 energy. Before I would give you unlimited. This is kind of like a give and a take because some things you do want to spend energy, sometimes you actually don't want it to have unlimited because you need to spend it for some bonus. So it is kind of a buff and a nerf. Overall, I would say, depending on what build you're playing, it really depends on that. You also get 100% energy cost reduction. So for this reason, I would say pretty much it should be good, but there are certain things, again, that when you would spend resources, you get bonuses. So again, unlimited energy versus 100% cost reduction. I would say usually cost reduction of 100% is bad because you want to spend resources for, let's say, Banished Sword's Talisman or something. Even though it gives you 300 energy, you need it to cost resources. So it's kind of a nerf to some builds as well, if that makes any sense. But there is a buff here where we get 25% critical strike chance, which we had before. But then we also gain 25% X critical strike damage. So that's where there is a buff. So it depends, again, on the build that you're playing. Some builds, like Ring of Starless Skies, even if you have a no energy cost of like 0, sometimes it still works. It's just kind of dependent on the item that you're trying to activate. But that is a new change with Inner Sight. Now, as far as the skills go, with Shadow Clone, it says Shadow Clone's copied skills now more consistently target the initial target of the skill. I would say that this is pretty much just a buff. However, it could be a nerf to speedrunning builds because you'd want like the Shadow Clone to attack another target, right? So I think this is an unintentional nerf to speed variants of it. I know Flurry is very, very popular because it's just one of the fastest builds in the game. But this is, again, something that's kind of an unintentional nerf. It actually is a buff if you are just trying to do pit pushings, because then you obviously want to target the elite more than anything in most cases. And then as far as it goes with the legendary aspects, the aspect of Star Charge. So normally this would give you the ability for like the Dance of Knives, because that's the new thing that we're going to be building in Season 11 with the brand new unique. It says that Dance of Knives damage is increased by 30% per combo point spent. Now, usually you wouldn't make like some sort of combo point build in Star Shards or any Dance of Knives build because you just want to hold down the thing and go. But now it adds another layer to basically kind of snapshotting it, assuming that you can keep it up the whole time. That is going to be extra damage. Now, interestingly enough, it doesn't specify if this is like all we get from it, because how it used to work, it would shoot out other like knives, and you could see it in the gameplay where it hits them for physical damage. I'm not sure if this is going to be removed and we only get this, or this is an additional thing to it. If this is an additional thing to it, then I guess we'd get some more damage on some targets, but then again, for speed clearing, which is where Dance of Knives excels, if that gets removed where you lose the ability to shoot in a star, then, well, it's just a straight up nerf to speed. And then there's a nerf to Galvanized Slashers aspect, so it restores 100 energy instead of restoring full energy. Again, there's a lot of nerfs to Diablo in terms of your resources coming in Season 11, and they did nerf a lot of the resources in Season 10 as well. Instead of it giving you a percent, it would give you a flat number. And then also the Beastfall Boots, they are getting a nerf here because it has a now cap. So unfortunately, when I originally made my video talking about the new Mythic changes, there's a huge buff to Melted Heart Selig, but the problem is that you get really excited because you hear, oh, I'm going to have more resources, therefore I can activate, like, you know, the Beastfall Boots, the Serpentine aspect, and all those things. Those all have caps, and now we're getting more caps on stuff, so there's a limit on how good certain things can be, which is unfortunate because I wish Diablo would just let us have fun, even though, yeah, I get it, it's a huge multiplier, because how this works is for every point of resource you spend, I think it's like 0.75 is a higher roll here, you get, like, more damage based on how much energy you spend. But because it has a cap of this of 500, it at least doesn't absorb all your energy, because Serpentine is really bad because it absorbs all your energy, but it only gives you 500 maximum damage. Now, this one specifically does state that it can only consume up to 500. So if you go way over that, it won't like drain everything, which sometimes it can be a good or a bad thing. Anyways, next up, Scoundrel's Leathers. The damage reduction from trapped enemies got replaced with Dexterity. The Eyes in the Dark, the damage reduction from trapped enemies is now changed with Dexterity. And the Bands of Icarus Rose, the maximum poison resistance affix replaced with Dexterity. So overall, once again, this is kind of a global change that we're seeing with all of the classes. Basically, damage reduction going down. We are going to be a lot squishier going into the next season, but we also happen to have the new Sacred modifiers. I don't know if this is going to make up for all the damage loss plus all the survivability. And this build, I'm going to be straight up with you guys. There are times where it's very dangerous when you are playing with the Flurry build with the Death Mask because your HP drains, and it's one of the more popular builds. And well, it's going to be even squishier coming up to the next season because all of these are getting changed. Although you don't really play these in this, it's just that overall all the fortification, like all that stuff is getting nerfed. Anyways, next up with the Paragon, Deadly Ambush. How this works is you would deal 50x increased critical strike damage to enemies affected by your trap skills. Now, it's you deal 50x increased critical strike damage and overtime to enemies affected by your trap skills. So this would be an overall buff because there is also that poison build where it's now crit damage and damage over time, so that's kind of cool. And there's also one item that we can go over real quick since that's it for the rogue. There is another thing that we are getting in the next season, and that is the brand new pants that are supposed to be all about Dance of Knives. Now, these also have a pretty good amount of survivability built onto them, even though, like I said, every build losing out on survivability. You do get the dodge chance while channeling Dance of Knives. 15% dodge is quite large. And then also, in the new season, we are going to be able to quality up our gear. It's different than masterworking. It's kind of like a rework of it. And as far as I'm aware of, this is the number that is getting changed, like the implicit on the items. So if this is able to give us like 20% just straight dodge chance, that's really good actually for survivability. We also get critical strike chance, some movement speed, and then obviously Dance of Knives here. And then you also get agility damage. Basically, it stacks up to 3 times, and if you get a perfectly rolled one, that is 60x damage. Now, is this going to make Dance of Knives the best build? It was kind of farther behind, but the new build that is popular right now in Season 10, which is like the double like Heartseeker Forceful Arrow, that build doesn't work anymore because, well, you can't really run it without the Chaos powers. So is this going to be one of the best builds? I would say, off the top of my head, I don't see it becoming the S tier rogue build, but it is still something to consider. If you want to do speed farming, I would say Dance of Knives is definitely going to be better. But as far as this goes, there's just a lot of global changes on this. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for the rogue over here. Let me know, guys, in Season 11, what do you guys plan to play if you are a rogue player? I would still look at Flurry as it's really good, but I know some people may be tired of it, and so then you can lock in Dance of Knives and be super fast, but Flurry is super fast for the most part. The main issue that Dance of Knives has is doors. Doors make it very, very painful, especially if they want us to play combo points, because combo points requires you to use the basic skill, ramp up several, and then you get to then hold down the button until you come to a door or any like thing that you have to push. And Diablo 4 loves to put these little things where you have to click. It's just like any other action RPG, though. I'm not going to say it's just Diablo 4, but that requires you to snapshot all of your stuff, like your imbues and all the other things with Dance of Knives. But anyways, that is going to be something to consider if you do want to play the new thing. But anyways, that is going to be it for the rogue. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. But take care, and I'll see you guys in the next part when we cover the Sorc.